Welcome back, everybody. My name is Andrew. It's Andrew. Where we're trying a new thing where I hosted a because I have because this is my favorite Stranger Things season. Yeah, we're talking about season 3. I have not finished season 4 yet. I haven't started that yet, but this is my personal favorite season. I'm here with Michael. Has a very different opinion on this season than me.
Yeah, that have a very different opinion, but it should definitely be a lot of fun because I don't. This won't be necessarily like our Argyle review. I hated Argyle, and then like you loved it. This one, it's like I just was very disappointed and just think it's
Yeah.
kind of mediocre.
Yes. So let's get started with episode 1. We'll be talking about a lot of elements that I love in this show. So if we start right at the beginning of episode 1, and one of my favorite openings to the series so far in Russia. If we hit the ground running, the Russians are making a machine using the upside down. They're trying to make something. If we do not know what it is at this time, and if we know this is epic, because there is literally a Russian choir. There's epic Russian music. Like we're like, oh shit, this is this is real. This is intense, and it could be because of one element that could be making this even more epic is because in the real world we don't have the best relationship with Russia already. So if we see the Russians, we're automatically like, oh shit, it's the Russians, And I literally have on here, I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed this, Michael, but their machine that they're using kind of looked like Tony Stark's arc reactor.
Kind of a little bit like a more giant version of his arc reactor, basically. Yeah. Speaking of machines, this episode is titled "Susie, Do You Copy?" Because we get it sort of an introduction to Dustin having a girlfriend in this episode, and he says that there's somebody out there named Susie who the gang has never met. Who, he builds this ham radio to try to talk to her, and basically that they just kind of laugh it off like, oh, he was fucking with us because Susie isn't on the line.
Yes,
but she comes into play later. But
yes,
in this episode.
yes, she does in a great way, and I'm gonna have a lot to say about that. But we also see that Max and 11 and Mike. I have the M names confused. 11 and Mike are in a relationship, like hot and heavy in a relationship for that age. Pretty and
young love.
And if what I noticed that in this season in particular is 11's actually doing pretty good with English. Like she's speaking a lot more like season 1 and season 2 for like simple words like ghost, Halloween, like simple words. For now, she is talking like full sentences. She's doing great. And if we also see that, guess who isn't happy about them being together? Hopper.
Yeah.
Hopper.
I'll have a lot to say about my boy Hopper this season, but
jealous. Of course, he's a little bit jealous because 11 is of course spending all this time with Mike. He misses his time with Elle. He wants boundaries, which we will get to in a little bit. And I just love how happy everybody is right now because in this show, people are happy a lot.
Mm-hmm. And they're going through a lot of shit in the show.
It's kind of nice And to see just every once in a while that glimpse of, okay, people are happy now.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
I even love, you know, Joyce trying to like help Hopper and give him advice in this episode, like trying to make, that happy kind of exchange that they have together, So I think that that was
yes,
really cute,
totally. And then after that scene, if we get a shot of the mall, which I love the mall. The
Oh,
mall setup, oh my god, it is so cool. And while at the mall, we meet a top 3 Stranger Things character of mine, Robin. I adore Robin. Like some people are like, but she doesn't add a lot to the the lore. And I'm like, I do not care. She's just a character that, if you have those characters that from the minute they show up, you're like, okay, I love this character right away, She's like one of those characters for me.
oh yeah,
And in my opinion, and if she works with Steve at Scoops Ahoy, may I just add, season 3, I think that is one of the peak Steve Harrington seasons.
yeah. Steve Harrington is in his uniform the whole season, and he's working at Scoops Ahoy. He does not get out of that uniform, which is like really great. That he stays in the ice cream uniform. Which I want to say this. Here's a great idea for a video game. Make a video game, a Stranger Things video game, where you have like you could play as the Demogorgon going up against the whole gang, or you could play as like the actual gang of Stranger Things kids and the adults as well. But you could have like skins, so you could have like the skin for Steve Harrington as like the Scoops Ahoy outfit, or you could have the skin for Hopper as like the Hawaiian shirt from this season.
Mm-hmm.
Such as that. Like I think that would be really.
I even have a funny TV show idea for this. It could be like a spin-off, kind of like a sitcom-y kind of show.
Yeah.
With like every season, Steve and Robin just getting new jobs like every season. And like at the end of every season, something happens and they need to find a new job.
Yeah.
And then like season 1 could have been Scoops Ahoy. Season 2, the video store. And then maybe like a fucking bowling alley at season 3 or something. But yes. And then as we see them going up the hill, the gang going up the hill to like talk to Dustin's, Susie, air quote Susie as they think. I never doubted
I want to say first off,
I never doubted it for a second, by the way.
Oh yeah, I never did too. But I love the surprise party that they throw for Dustin. First off, that birthday party that they're trying to throw for Dustin, and he he turns around and sprays Lucas right in the eyes and everything because they like scare him. I
love that moment.
Yeah, I know that.
And as they're going up the hill, Will has another dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has another creepy vision. Which, funny enough, Will is not the one to get the most trauma this season.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I'm like, yay, Will gets a little break this season.
In fact, honestly, the one that gets the most trauma, and he's working as a lifeguard now, is Billy. Billy, I feel, gets the most trauma this season because of everything that happens to him.
And we'll get to Billy.
Right.
And then if we get to Steve, to Nancy and Jonathan, which, by the way, by far the worst Jonathan that we've seen so far. He's legit like not contributing a lot this season.
He gets even worse in season 4 for me. Like he is not good in here, but like in season 4, he's literally pointless.
And when Nancy is going out the window, I don't know if you got this vibe too, but she has a very Molly Ringwaldy dress.
She gives off Molly Ringwald vibes. The Nancy character, definitely.
Like I'm like, whoa, that's a really very Molly Ringwald dress. I like it, Nancy, and then Hopper goes into Joyce's work to talk about, oh well, Mike, yada yada yada. Then dun dun dun, magnets.
Yeah, that find out that Joyce has this thing where the magnets will not stay on any items that they are supposed to be magnetized on, and she's thinks it's kind of suspicious, and she's used to seeing some weird stuff. She literally was talking to her son in the lights, so she's used to stuff.
And for me, for some reason, I want to address this. When Jonathan speaks this season, is it me? Or does his voice sound different?
I feel like throughout the series, I feel like he's struggling because he's a British actor. He's got, in actual interviews, like the actor himself is English. And I feel like that English accent comes out every once in a while. And he can't really, control that talking fully American. So.
And as we're talking about Joyce, I forgot to put this in my mouth. No, she's 100% right when she's giving Hopper the advice about 11 and Mike. Joyce is 100% right.
She is.
And
she's had a son longer than Hopper's had a daughter, so she definitely knows what she's talking about for sure.
I also have. Do you remember the scene where Dustin's mom is bringing Dustin home, and she legit says the worst thing a mother could when they're not answering his do you copy? Maybe they forgot about you. I'm like, yeah, that's what everybody wants to hear. Yeah, your friend forgot about you.
Jeez.
Yes, and then cut to the pool. We see Billy really doing a good job demanding that authoritarian role. He's just like somebody that buddy that have you ever seen those villains that when they come in they demand authority?
Oh yeah.
Or those characters. That's what Billy gives off to me. And I have to admit this, Mike's mom, Ted's wife, at this point is even looking at Billy. That's how bad Ted is.
Yeah. That's just tells you something. Maybe in another life.
Yes. Give me 1 second. Gotta flip my page over.
Yeah. I will say, I can talk about this real quick, is that basically we find out that the Cloud Monster is alive, basically, and is in our real world, and is exploding a bunch of rats in this episode. Because, some rats are in there with them, and in that area where this monster is staying, and then they just explode everywhere. So, yeah, and I think, and I'm forget if it's this episode or if it is the next episode. Yeah, it is this episode. So it's this episode where Billy also, gets dragged. We don't know what happens to him yet, but he basically gets attacked, and then
yes,
and then that's
yes. But there are a few more points in this episode that happened, and if we get to my most annoying part of the season in this episode.
What?
The news place workers.
Oh yeah.
These guys. Now I understand it's the 80s. People don't have as much respect for women, these guys are saying all these sexist remarks and legit sounding like, have you ever, like, Lion King is like one of your favorite movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, like the hyenas, how they laugh at Scar. That's
Basically.
what all of these news guys sound like,
Oh, yeah. Basically.
And they use the same joke every time. Hey, Nancy Drew. I'm like, get a new line, guys. And
Jeez. Yeah.
then
That part was hard to watch for sure.
And then we get the scene where Hopper tries to confront 11 and Mike, and it doesn't go well. So what does he do? He threatens Mike.
Yep. He which is just we're going to talk more about Hopper as it goes along because he does something else to other characters as well. As someone who's a huge Hopper fan, this was like a character assassination for Hopper because they just changed his character up entirely. I understand he's an angry person. We saw him have fights with 11 in season 2. He would yell and get in those fits of rage every now and then. But while he rolls his eyes a lot at these kids, he's just like, oh, these kids kind of deal. He would never like threaten any of the kids. So I feel like him threatening Mike is just completely out of character for him and feels really off.
Then hold on. And then we have as Dustin is trying to communicate with Susie after everybody's left, he comes across a Russian translation.
Yeah.
He comes across a Russian translation. And if we end with one of my least favorite cliches of one of my least favorite horror cliches.
Which one?
Billy hears a noise and goes, "Who's there?" Like the person behind is gonna go, "It's only me, the monster." And I'm like, that is the dumbest thing to say. Who's there? And it happens so many times in horror movies that I'm like,
especially didn't he say that like in the abandoned building or something? Like what? Like I forgot exactly where he was when he said that, but I feel like he was at that abandoned building that he goes to, and whenever he says who's there, and it's like, why would you say that there? But yeah, the Russian translation does become very important as the season goes along. So we'll discuss that. But are you ready to move on to episode 2?
Yep. So he runs away, runs away from the monster, and he gets into the phone booth and he tries to call 911, and they say 911, what's the emergency? And the first thing I'm thinking of is, what would this emergency be? A creature is trying to attack me. Is it an animal? No, it's some weird creature from looks like outer space. Like, I'm like, what would this emergency be?
Yeah.
Then the creature gets him and brings him down into the sewer. Or brings him to a room or something. I forget. I think it was like a room that he was like dragged. And then is the scene where Elle calls Mike, and Mike has to lie to 11 because, of course, he's scared of Hopper, obviously, and that did break my heart for 11 because I'm like, she has no clue what's going on, so I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Because she's completely innocent in all this.
She is. She's not at all any kind of reason why why any of this is going on, and she's just oblivious to it all. So I will say this: I one thing I want to point out about the whole thing with Mike and 11. So at one point, Mike gets off the phone with her. She's confused. She's just like, "Why? What is going on?" And then she's just like, he sees how disappointed 11 is. And then it moves on to the scene of him singing that Jim Croce song that you don't fly Supermanscape, you don't fade into the wind, you don't do up on the Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I love that song so much. Jim Croce is great, and I thought that was like one of the best uses of "Don't Mess Around with Jim."
Yes, but Tim, but I get that. But what bothers me is he's so happy, and I'm like, it's one day. It's one day, Hopper. One day. It's not like, hey, they're broken up now. 11 has more time to just spend with you. And I also have on here, friends don't lie unless their policeman father tells them to.
Basically.
And then we get in this episode the reunion that we've all wanted to see. Dustin and Steve, and it is iconic.
It is iconic, but it is also slightly ruined by my favorite character, Erica, who comes into play.
Yes,
this season.
And then I have on here. What I would love to see is some flashbacks to moments with Steve and Dustin between season 2 and 3. I would love to see like how their friendship like grew and evolved.
Well, from what I've heard too, they might do that with the new animated series coming out. The animated Stranger Things series coming out. That is like Adventures of 1985 or something like that. But apparently it takes place in between season 2 and season 3. So, yeah.
And then this leads to, weirdly enough, one of my other favorite friendships in this series, 11 and Max, which I feel is like perfect. But I do find it so funny because if you watch season 2, when 11 meets Max at first, she does not like Max. So that was like him, like, hey, give it a season, you'll grow to really like her. That's why I said that.
Yeah, and Max does, and you do learn to really like Max. She definitely has like the best plot point of like the next season after this for sure.
And what else I love is if you have Lucas and Mike and 11 and Max, dealing with their own stuff. Then this poor fucking Will in the corner just wants to play D&D.
Yeah.
And I just feel bad for him because I'm like, poor guy has been so traumatized and he just wants a summer with his friends. Like, I just feel so bad for him.
And it's just like, and Will is just tossed around the corner, kind of being third wheeled constantly, and it's upsetting,
And then we have him in the back learning about the Russian.
Yeah.
And then cut back to Steve. Where he's in the back room. Rob needs help, but Steve is so focused on trying to figure out the Russian code with Dustin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. We also get, real quick, I'll throw this out. We also get the introduction to the Dread Pirate Roberts himself, Cary Elwes. This is where he gets introduced into this season as kind of like a sniveling, kind of conniving mayor, if you will. And,
yes. And we'll have a lot to say a lot to say about a certain moment with him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And 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 this is also clearly apparently I just have my notes that's clearly see or Jonathan gets boring. Like at least Nancy has a purpose this season. She's definitely not my favorite this season, but
Yeah,
she still has a purpose, and if we see her fighting and we see what she's up to, Jonathan, we see nothing.
true. Yeah, we don't really see
And,
much from him.
and then and 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 then also I refer this about the mayor where he wants Hopper to stop the protesters. Wouldn't outside City Hall be considered public land?
I would think so. Yeah.
So how could Hopper have the so how could somebody have the right to kick protesting off public land? Whenever there's like a protest in the real world, like no kings, yada yada yada. It's in public places, like public land, not private property. But so I'm like, how does he have the right to kick all the to say, hey, protesters, no protesting on public land?
Yeah. I feel like that's the mayor saying that, or is that um
That the man wants Hopper to do that.
that's Hopper? Yeah, Hopper shouldn't have the authority to be able to say that. You would think if it's public land, you'd think that uh like someone who's actually a congressman would actually be able to say whether or not.
And 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 also I have to add this because this is the episode with the mall montage. What I love about Max and Eleven's relationship is she clearly cares about 11, clearly in a different way than Hopper or Mike. But if we can tell that it is genuine that she cares, and coming from somebody with special needs, who knows shit about fake friendships, I have to say, this is not fake. This is 100% real.
Absolutely.
And
just like our friendship, brother.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Then, if we get my personal favorite song moment, we actually get a Weird Al Yankovic song this season.
I know. That's just out of the blue. It's really fun.
And I'm like, yes, it's Weird Al Yankovic. Yay!
That was awesome. That was so great.
And
I do want to add this point real quick is about the Joyce standing up Hopper. I felt that was kind of shitty. Like I understand Joyce is very focused in on, on what's going on with the magnets, and she's very driven and focus driven and everything. But to ditch what she promised so she could spend time with the science teacher feels kind of off of it.
What bothers me, she never explains it to Hopper. She never says, hey, I was doing this, then this happened, so I had to investigate this.
Yeah, and so I don't blame him for like getting drunk and going off at that point. Like that was just like him being really depressed because he got stood up and everything. So
and I don't know about you, but this season, but evil rats are just not as interesting.
No, what is not as interesting?
Evil rats.
Evil rats, yeah.
I'm like Russians. Evil rats.
Although the evil rats, they create what is like the coolest fucking creature that Stranger Things has come up with.
Yes,
that,
I agree.
nasty looking monster. Yeah.
Season 3 has the best creatures. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, whoa. But and then if we have in this episode, if we have the iconic mall montage, which I adore this scene. Some people may have issues with the whole, ooh, it's just romance. Ooh, it's just, that tween relationship stuff. To me, it kind of feels like a show like Friends or How I Met Your Mother. Like where it's not the most interesting stuff in the world, but it just comforts you. It just makes you feel like, okay, I am invested in this. It makes me feel relaxed.
Yeah, you could say that a lot about this season, is that it's not really like a season that drives home the plot a lot, but it's more so like a comfort season, and
yes.
But I will say, in that same scene, when they're having the mall montage and having a great time and everything, Mike gets dumped for the first time, and gets what that's like, and that's just crazy.
And if we get, like, in my opinion, right up there with Friends Don't Lie, I dump your ass.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, say what you will about this plot line, but 11 sounds like a badass when she says that.
She does. Absolutely.
And
up
we also see Billy this episode's first reactions to dealing with the whole creature thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Billy's reaction to that, what a really great performance from Dickon Montgomery, I think is his name. He does a really good job this season, and Billy is such an interesting arc, and it kind of starts with this for sure. Yeah,
I agree. But if we do get one Steve moment that kind of confuses me at the end of this episode. So they're obsessed about the music. What is the music and the background of this? The music. Tell me something. How convenient is it that Steve figures out that it's the merry-go-round?
Yeah, that is very convenient.
I'm like, wow, that's coincidence.
Especially whenever he honestly is not. We all love Steve, but he is not the brightest one in the group. Dustin is the one that keeps on saying, like, you have to be explained everything, dude. Like, what's going on here? Like Steve is not the brightest one in the group. Yeah, he figured that out. But are you ready to move on to episode 3?
Yep.
Cool. We episode 3.
Yes, and then as Max is explaining things to 11, I am just been curious. Does Max know that 11 is a science experiment?
I don't know if she knows everything about 11's past. I know that she knows that she has powers. Like, she knows she's not of this world and that she has powers and everything. But I don't know if she actually knows about everything she went through. No, I don't think she does.
And I also think this is the episode where she finds out weird shit is going on with Billy. She spies on Max. I'm on Mike and Lucas and all of them.
Oh yeah, and then you find out that whole thing about the species, which is the female species argument that happens.
Yes, and then I just love 11. We are species.
I know. That is the way she talks about it. She's doing much better on English, but she still hasn't fully grasped it down yet. So I thought it was
And like
great.
she seems to be confused as like what that means. And I just love Hopper hates having Mike around, but having Max around he's perfectly okay with.
Oh yeah, no, it's like okay, yeah, that's seems a bit odd for Hopper.
Mhm.
Uh,
Especially this season. And I'm shocked that he didn't have a bigger reaction. You know why?
why?
This was when he came home from the restaurant drunk.
I know. Yeah,
So I'm like, we saw what he did with Mike, and I'm
yeah.
like, shit, what's
Yeah,
he
he
gonna
was
do with
sober
Max? Oh, he's
during
gonna be
that from what we
perfectly
know.
okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so maybe he needs to drink more often. Maybe it kind of mellows him down or something. Like, jeez. Um, one, and I know this episode too. Because I forgot to mention it the last episode, Heather, which was one of the lifeguards, she faces a really unfortunate fate. And in this episode, you find out some more stuff in there because Max and Eleven start kind of tracking Billy down and kind of hunting just to see like what he's up to. And you find out like him and Heather are like a hive mind of sorts,
Yes.
which is kind of
And if we do get one small issue that I have with this season us in the early episodes, it gets fixed. It gets fixed by episode 5, which which I'm happy about. But early episodes, if you know what one issue is,
what.
okay, we have we have Hopper and Joy storyline. Okay, if we have Mike and the guys. Okay, we have Dustin, Stephen, Robin. Okay, we have 11 and Max. Okay, we have Nancy and Jonathan. Okay, we have Billy. 6 plot lines.
Yeah.
Six. And if usually they were together. Like
Oh, dude, that gets real bad in season 4. Like, trust me. Like, season 4 is even worse when it's like jumping from plot line to plot line to plot line. This is bad. But like season 4 is like, guys, y'all aren't Game of Thrones, okay? Game of Thrones was like an exception because it was kingdoms and all this other shit, all the different areas of Westeros that they would have to tackle. So they would have to jump from person to person to person to person to person. But with something like this is supposed to be a more intimate story. Just these
and
4 characters.
I do understand if you have a lot of great characters,
Yeah.
you need separate plot lines because if they were all together all the time, every character wouldn't have shit to do. It would be so separating them would be makes complete sense. But what bothers me is like this seemed to be a lot. Like at least last season, if you had 11 and if you had Max with them for the majority of the season, Dustin was with them. And by the way, that was another nitpick. Dustin is really not with them at all this season.
Yeah, he's just
like, and I'm not complaining that much because honestly, between you, me, and every other person watching, so this isn't that much of a secret, but the Russian storyline is my favorite. Like,
yeah.
like if you said which storyline is your favorite, I'm saying I could be biased because Steve, Robin, and Dustin are three of my favorites. Like,
Yeah.
no kidding. Legit made a top 10 Stranger Things characters, and
They
those
no,
are top.
they're all great, but Erica really just invades the trio of
Yes,
characters
I
that
agree.
and it just becomes I don't know. She's such an annoying character. Ice cream for life and all that, and it's just like, oh my gosh. Okay, I get it.
And
You're kind of a brat. I get it. She's a kid, but like, ugh.
and also in this season, talking about trauma, 11 gets more creepy images than Mike this season.
Yeah.
Like 11 is the one getting all of the creepy. Ooh, what's going on?
Yeah. We have a few comments here. One is from Sudarshan Sharma. Hope I pronounced it right. Says, "Hey guys, how are you doing? You are new here, so hope you're doing well." And then Tristan Mayer says, "Rough season to rewatch." I'm with you on that, buddy. I'm with you on that. But
Not for me. I adored this season, and for me, it's a season that I will give this season this. It starts off as really, really good, but I can see the criticism. Like I have the perfect analogy for this season.
what was that?
This season is my Barbie movie.
Yeah, where it's like just that comfort.
Where I watch it and I'm just like I'm so happy. I'm going to defend the shit out of it, and like maybe I'll overlook a few flaws because I love it. Which I'm very interested in my thoughts about season 4, because when I watched season 4, it was one of my favorites. So I'm curious if I'm gonna be nicer to season 4 than you are as well. So, but moving back to here, we hear about Happy Screams.
Happy Screams. Oh God, yeah, that joke in there. Which there's always so many kind of innuendos, in this show. Like we talked about, the happy screams in here, but then we also talk about, I don't know. For me, when I wrote in my notes, literally the gate in this looks straight up like a
Yes.
I'm just like, oh my god. Like, there's a lot of like allegorical stuff going on.
Yes.
Sure.
But no debating it. The best banter of the season is Steve, Robin, and Dustin.
For sure.
And then we get Will the Wise.
Yes.
And what I love the most about this is his D&D campaign comes with an epic score. And I'm like, I want a D&D campaign where somebody brings out like an epic, like a boombox or like Spotify playlist. It's just like epic music the whole time. I'm like,
me and my friends used to do that back when we played D&D a lot. He would be playing like intense instrumental music that would be playing while we're actually like fighting and doing all our stuff. It was so fun.
I'm like shit. That music would make a not as good campaign great, because you're like, ooh, the music, the scenes, oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
And it could be just me because when it comes to film, an epic soundtrack can make or break a film for me.
I feel you there. I'm a very music driven type of dude.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel you there. For sure.
And I do not like how Lucas and Mike treated Will in this scene, especially
Yeah.
knowing all of the shit that Will has been through,
Yeah.
especially Mike, because in seasons 2 and 3, yes, they were all friends. Yes, but
Yeah.
you could tell that the best friend, the comfort friend, was Will's comfort person was Mike.
Yeah. I think
Which we talk about, which will become a major thing in season 4,
it
which
will.
I'm curious to
And
get.
I also am disappointed with how Mike treats Will in season 4, but we'll get to more of that once we get there.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Speaking of
and
4,
also
are you ready to move on to chapter 4, or do you have more points?
I do have a few more things to say.
Yeah.
Do you think that line that Mike says when he says because you don't like girls is a jab at the whole storyline that everybody's talking about?
Yeah, I think that is like I don't know. I felt it was almost insulting there, and I almost feel like ever since Mike found out that Will was gay, it's sort of threw Mike back, and he's just like, oh, okay, I want a little distance from you now, unfortunately, and that's just kind of how I feel they're trying to go with this.
And then if we have, in my opinion, a scene that we could see coming a mile away in this scene, where Dustin and Steve are like, that guy's Russian, so they're spying on him, but it just turns out to be a yoga instructor or like a Zumba instructor. And
Yeah,
I do find it a little bit convenient that Robin sees the silver cat on the guy's outfit.
yeah. That Robin, out of everyone, knows what this Russian code is, like what they're trying to say and everything. Like it's kind of interesting. But,
And
so for anyone who says she doesn't add anything to the plot, there you go. There's something to debunk right there. She adds to the plot because without her, they would not have known the first steps of like what the Russian code was. And
yes,
everything.
and then Will gives us a very mood comment where he says, "I just want to go back to the good old days," and I'm like, "Don't we all? Don't we all?"
Yeah.
And then if we get a scene that doesn't make any sense, so they're spying on the Russian guys at the mall. They're standing a pretty decent way away, and it's fucking raining.
Yeah.
The Russian guys are like, "Hey, what's that noise?" I'm like, "How do they hear? How can you guys hear that?"
And also just the Russian people in the season are so clueless because I forget if it was this episode or the next episode where they're trying to like sneak past the Russians, and then that like literally they're wearing bright ass shirts and all this stuff, and they just can like are blind. They can't even see these kids walking
and and then if we have the scene where Joyce and Hopper try to break into the lab, and we get the fucking most bad ass assassin that you could get, and I'm like, this guy looks like the Terminator, and I'm like, I just call him the Terminator guy.
Yeah.
Like just his fighting skills, and I'm so happy they keep him around for most of the season. It's not until like the final episode before they defeat him because I'm like, this guy's a badass and I love it.
Yeah, no, I think that he was great. He kind of reminded me of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger mixed with like a Dolph Lundgren. He even has a line in there very similar to Rocky 4 where Rodolph Lundgren's like, if he dies, he dies. And he's like almost does something similar.
Yes.
And poor Hopper, man, he gets his ass kicked by This guy, he
Yes.
like punches the shit out of him, and it's not the first time it happens.
Then, in my opinion, the creepiest image ever. So 11 and Max try the 11 senses something going on with Billy. So they go to the house where they think he's at. And isn't Robert's like reporter boss there? Or does that happen later?
Yeah, I think the boss is there in this episode.
And then Billy's being nice. And I'm like, that is creepy. Like, that's like in Batman if the Joker was nice. You're like, this is creepier than evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the episode ends with a very Quentin Tarantino like song. I forget what it is, but the whole idea of the something is creepy going on, but if you get that very da 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 that music that felt like very opposite.
Which I thought was very focused. Like they're both like killing people. They're killing her family, Heather's family, which is like insane. They're killing her mom and dad, and all that. Yet it's playing joyful music at the same time, which is really interesting.
And then if we get to the start of episode 4, where 11 gets introduced to Wonder Woman, which is perfect because she's legit probably my favorite superhero.
Yeah. That's another reason why this season is probably your
favorite. And then I added that I love how innocent Max and 11's friendship is, and I love it so much.
Oh yeah.
And this season I just love I have this written on here. Even though there is the horror element still there, there's a lot more of an action element this season, which I loved. Like with that Terminator guy and the Mind Flayer and everything.
Yeah, that's great. Which, the Mind Flayer, I put literally in my notes for episode 4. I literally have now the Mind Flayer is the Mind Flesh, is what I'm calling it, because you have it all fleshy and gross. So,
and then this is my favorite part. So Mike Freeland finally realizes things are going down, and he calls to Dustin. He's like, Dustin, if we need you in half. Oh, trust me, Dustin's been on it longer than you. Like, trust me, Dustin is on top of it this season.
Yes. He is. He's basically having to be like, he's the youngest, and he has to be like, or one of the youngest, and he has to be like the dad to all these people.
And then comes the scene where Nancy gets fired.
Yeah.
Fired for investigating the woman who had the rats.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. And then things, but that's not the end of her bosses. They give her an even harder time at some point as it goes along. So
okay, now it's time. Episode 4 has the scene.
Mm-hmm. Episode 4, yeah.
And I think you know the scene.
Yeah.
Hopper, you know that mayor guy? Hopper fights the mayor.
Yeah, this is the scene I was talking about that feels like a complete character assassination from what we have built previously with Hopper. Hopper is an angry person. Obviously, he's punched people before, but he literally is abusive in this season. And I understand they might be trying to say something about police brutality. Okay, sure, but like they could, but that the issue is he's been a police officer now for 2 seasons, and they never established anything like that
Yes.
in the previous 2 seasons. And now all of a sudden he becomes extremely abusive and actually physically harming like a mayor and several other people. So
And here's my biggest issue. You know what the easiest solution would have been?
but
Get dirt on the politician,
yeah,
show him a picture, threaten to leak it to the press unless he cooperates. And Joyce too, because the assistant tries to help, but Joyce like takes the phone. Like, wouldn't she have gotten arrested too? Like, and why didn't the official even try to call 911? Be like, Hopper's lost it, get him arrested, because
yeah.
he would have the right to do that.
And I don't care if he's chief of police. The thing is there's always somebody above somebody else. So there is somebody out there who is above Hopper. And it's just kind of crazy that.
And then if we get a scene that bothers me with Jonathan, for he tells Nancy to like stop investigating and it's like blaming her for things, and I'm like, did you see what happened the last 2 seasons with Will?
Yeah.
Did you see what your brother went through these past 2 seasons? Shouldn't you be like, yeah, something's up. Something is going on. I see things. I've been through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if we get another plot hole thing where they're trying to figure where they want to figure out in the mall a way to get in through the vent and everything.
Yeah.
Robin comes back with blueprints, and I'm like, and I'm like, and for like $20, and I'm like, isn't that illegal? Like, if you wanted to rob a place, couldn't you say, yeah, I'd like the blueprints to this place? Like,
Yeah.
what if they were robbers? Like, I'm like,
I feel like if you just want to buy blueprints, I feel like first off, would they really be $20 back in that time? Second off, is if you want to buy blueprints, like you should have like a background check or something on you. It does feel odd.
yeah, and Robin comes back somewhat quickly, so it's not even like it's the next day or 2 days later or something.
Yeah.
And then comes Erica, where she said, "What's in it for me?" And I'm like, you did hear the part where Russians are going to attack, right?
See, there's an easy way to handle this situation. Because obviously Erica is the one that, they want to get her so they can put her through the vent because, she's small. She's tiny enough to fit. There's an easy solution to fix this. All they have to say is, hey, Russians are coming here. They're going to kill you, and they're going to kill me, and they're going to make sure that you and no one else ever gets ice cream ever again. And just basically not threaten, I guess, but scare her, put fear into her that she'll never get to have ice cream again by like not doing this.
Yep. And cut to the political guy bringing Joyce and Hopper back to get the information. Hopper abuses the political guy again.
I know. It's like, geez, dude, you've already done enough.
And then I am going to give Mike's mom credit on one thing.
What?
He does have a nice conversation with Nancy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is probably, in my opinion, her best scene in my opinion.
And with
She-
Billy too. She has a really good conversation with Billy as well, or tries to. But Billy is, effective.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes, which does make her better than Ted.
it does.
And this and
he may
this,
be a dork, but he is her dork, and I thought it was sweet.
yeah.
Use that.
And then if we find, and then the kids come up with the plan. Mike tries to apologize, tells about Hopper. Then L11 brings up the whole species thing. And she's pissed at Mike. Mike's pissed for spying on her.
Yeah.
For spying on him, yada yada yada. Yada yada yada. And
That was a
and
that was a funny scene because also Mike's reaction too of like, were you spying on me and all that. I thought it was really funny, his reaction.
And I do have to give one thing to the whole Erica thing.
What?
Planned child endangerment. I'm like, okay, that the name of that plan actually made me laugh.
Yeah, that's true.
Then the political guy finally calls for backup. Finally.
I don't know.
And then comes another scene that doesn't make any sense. Now, it could have been an 80s thing. When Joyce goes in to see when Nancy goes to see the girl at the hospital, wouldn't the hospital have an approved list of like who all the family members are?
Yeah, and because a lot of times they want to make sure that you are friends or family, and then they'll say, okay, what's like your phone number, what's your address, yada yada, and they'll try to connect it to So I feel like she wouldn't have just been able to barge in there. A lot of movies do not know how hospitals work, and this is one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and then and in this episode, cut back to the mall, and if we get that a sweet line from Dustin, "If you die, I die," very Frodo and Sam type of a line.
It is. Yeah.
In Lord of the Rings, and then cut back to the pool. Despite how much of a bully Billy was to her, it must be hard for her to literally see her brother or stepbrother literally getting fried.
Oh my god, yeah, and that scene so intense. I mean, again, that actor absolutely knocked it out of the park. The EDM actually brings up a question here. It says the only acting nominations for season 1 and 2. Do either of you think it deserved any acting noms for season 3? For me, I think Dacre Montgomery, who played Billy, deserved an acting nom for this season. I thought he was
yes, 100%. And this leads us right into season 5. Starts out great with Erica complaining.
You mean episode 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Episode 5 where Erica's like, if I'm not back for the birthday party, And then Steve's like, shut up, Erica, we're all gonna die. We're trapped in a Russian place,
Yeah.
And then we meet Alexei.
Oh, one of the best Stranger Things characters. So great.
I'm still partial to Bob, but
yeah,
as a side character, but Alexei was not bad. And okay,
no, Alexei was great, and it's unfortunate where his fate lies, but we'll get to that whenever we get there.
And then Hopper, and then somebody says policemen have rules in this, and I legit have policemen have rules. Did you see episode 4?
Dude, yeah, like he's trying to speak all like he's got some moral backing, and he doesn't. I mean, he literally I think this is the episode where he straight up steals a person's car at a gas station. He's just like, oh,
Yes.
we're gonna need to do this. I'm like, you just stole a person's car. That is literally Grand Theft Auto that you are committing.
Yes.
Committing a crime, huh?
But we do get a cool ass action scene, and then cut to, in my opinion, one of the best representations of this character of the whole season is Jonathan is asleep, and I'm like, yep, that's basically season 3 and 4 of Jonathan. Just, oh, he's there, he's asleep.
Basically. And I do want to bring this up as well, is in this episode, a historic moment happened. Something that will go down in the record books of Stranger Things. Steve finally wins a fight. And they even,
oh my god, I love that. I think that's later on.
I think it was in this episode. I have it written down for episode 5. Yeah.
I could check. I'll check later on, but I think it's like could be. I think it may be episode 6.
Maybe, but yeah.
And speaking of Steve, when the kids are like, "Where do we go? Where do we go?" I'm like, why isn't anybody thinking about Steve after the events of season 2? Yeah. I'm like, why is nobody else saying, "Hey, let's go see Steve. He may be able to help us."
Sure.
And hold on, getting my next page of notes up. Here we go. Okay.
But yeah, one thing I want to talk about too is, we were talking about.
Oh, he does win the fight in this episode. Sorry.
He does. Yeah, he wins the fight in this episode, and that was great because Dustin was all like, "Dude, you did it! You actually want to fight!" and all that stuff. And
I love how they had that little levity line in the middle of all that seriousness. I love it when a movie or show can have that ability to have a serious scene. Somebody says a funny line that doesn't take away from the intensity of the scene. It makes you laugh, and then you can get right back into the intensity. And
oh yeah, for sure.
Why does that green liquid that they have look like it belongs in a Hulk movie?
I know, right? It's like a acid of some kind, because I think this is the episode where they slide under that elevator and the thing was cracking on them and shatters, and just acid goes everywhere. So and Erica talked about drinking it earlier.
And this episode does have another scene for the Stranger Things record books for this season.
What's that?
Erica has a scene where she's not complaining.
I know, right? That's new. And also, can I just talk about like how blind people are in this season? All right, this is an issue I have with this season. Is this episode specifically how the Russians don't see someone wearing a Chips Ahoy, 2 people wearing Chips Ahoy ice cream uniforms, and Dustin in a bright ass yellow shirt and Erica in like a bright ass yellow shirt. How they don't see all that is like, okay, you Russians are blind as hell, because they stand out like sore thumbs and when they're trying to sneak past the Russians. So
in this episode, if you also get the very sitcom-y moments between Joyce and Hopper.
Oh yeah,
the whole bickering, and I'm like, isn't there something more important going on right now? Which leads to them finding one of my favorite Stranger Things characters of all time, Murray.
Yeah, Murray.
Murray shows up, and I love Murray. Murray is great.
especially in this season. Season 4, he gets a little annoying, but this season he is really great
And
does a lot of really cool stuff.
And then we finally get to see the Russians machine, and
also on top of the Russians, Nancy and Jonathan are also dealing with their own threat because while she was in the hospital, everyone's getting infected now, and turns out that her bosses who were laughing hyenas who treated her terribly are now after her to kill her because they're infected. And
yes,
and that brings me to my issue of, is there no doctors in this goddamn hospital? Like, these people are walking around infected trying to attack Nancy. Is there not going to be a single doctor saying like, sir, what are you doing? What are you doing, sir? Trying to grab the person and, you know, pull them away? Like,
yes.
it feels.
And if we also get something really weird, despite all this serious shit going on, guess before we get back to every once in a while,
What?
let's talk about relationships again. And I'm like, okay, that was fine.
Yeah.
First half of the season, it was fine. I was perfectly okay with it. You were praising the hell out of that stuff, but really now I'm like, time to set the
at this point, this season starts to meander a bit because it's just, at this point, we're in episode 5 and very little has actually happened. And other than the fact that, like, you know, Billy was infected and all that, like, and more happens than in season 4. Trust me, that season meanders. But this season definitely meanders as well, and it's just like kind of moves very slowly, unfortunately. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. When I can see why people have issues with that. I guess to me it really hits me now because we are getting to like that stuff where before I'm like, okay, having that stuff I was okay with, where now it's like, okay, now that we are getting into that really deep stuff, you know, do we really need to talk about this right now?
Yeah.
It would be like if in Star Wars we cut from Luke and Vader fighting to Han being like, so how is our relationship right now?
Exactly.
Like I'm like, okay, if this had been like had this not been a very serious battle, I would have been okay with it, but you know, I'm like, time's of the essence. We have bigger fish to fry right now. We need to settle this.
Yeah.
And also another thing else bothers me. We conveniently have 2 people this season that happen to speak some Russian.
Oh yeah.
Murray and Robin, and I'm like, and maybe somebody else. I'm like, how many people in Hawkins can speak Russian?
It didn't bother me as bad because I guess with Murray's case, he's like the translator, and then Robin doesn't actually know a ton of Russian, but she's kind of like, I've taken Russian classes and I can.
Didn't bother me, and it just made me laugh. I'm like, oh, of course you know Russian.
Yeah, for sure.
And then if we get another scene in this season towards the end of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
where somebody is yelling, where if one of the bad guys is yelling, Marco, Marco. And then Nancy runs up, yells Polo. I'm like, I never thought Marco Polo would be used in an iconic action scene.
Bro, I like laughed so hard because it kept on reminding me of like Night Swim, that scene where she's like, "So Margot," that he pops up by her. It's like, "You forgot to say polo." It reminded me a little bit of that, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
And so then we get to episode 6 of season 3.
E pluribus unum.
And it starts out with, of course, the best plot line, running from the Russians.
Yep.
And then if we get the scary creature, and we have 11 kicking its ass, and 11 kicks a lot of ass at the end of the season.
He does. For sure.
And gotta admit, Stranger Things does a really good job at one thing.
What?
It's opening like a few minutes before the credits.
Oh yeah.
Are always, I'm like, oh my god, that was great.
Yeah, and then of course you get the credit sequence, which I never skip. I know they have the skip intro option, but like I never skip the intro because the intro is just so good. And this is also, I gotta talk about it again. This is also the episode I also get pissed off at Hopper again at, because it's this episode where he freaking abuses Alexei. And because they bring him back to Murray's place, and
he brings Burger King, and he brings Burger King. I literally have this episode brought to you by Burger King.
I know, right? They literally have like some nice person from Burger King, and and they're like talking about it and everything, but like,
and Hopper commits the biggest sin in this episode.
What's that?
He brings the wrong slushy flavor.
He does, and Alexei says he will not talk unless he gets a cherry slushy. I get it that Hopper would be, upset and be angry, but like he legitimately grabs him and like throws him with force outside. He's like, "Get your own damn cherry slushy." I'm like, dude, this is not like you. I feel like you would just carry him to the car and then sit him down in the car and say, "All right, we're gonna go back and get your goddamn cherry slushy," or something like that, But
and then he makes another really dumb choice.
What?
After throws him outside, this one he also throws outside the keys to the car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? He was just so lucky that Alexei was actually nice and he waited for them. Like, had this been like another Russian, they would have been left with Murray.
Yeah. And it was kind of a dumb decision on his part, even though he technically was right that Alexei did come back with the car, because he was he said, "Oh, they're always come back. I know how this works," and all that, and and he was right there. But dude, you took that chance. Like, what if he didn't?
and there's another scene that doesn't make a lot of sense in this episode as well.
Which one?
So when Dustin and Erica are in the air duct and they're having a conversation, I'm like, Russians may hear you, right?
Yeah, and they're talking as like just
normal
voices. They're not even trying to whisper or anything.
Yes, and then if we see the Robin, and then we see them try and interrogate Steve, the Russians, and then the Russians laugh, and I'm like, hey, you guys just sound like the news people.
Exactly.
And then the Russians,
and this is the episode where they get high too, right?
Yes, and the Russians in this episode do the most evil thing that makes them the most evil villains in Stranger Things history, in my opinion.
What's that?
They hurt Steve Harrington.
I know they
I'm
do.
like, listen, Vecna may be terrible, but he did not hurt Steve Harrington.
Yet, if they kill him in season 5, then
Then Vecna is gonna be on my shit list.
yeah. But we'll see how that goes. And I know, but Vecna, technically, he actually did hurt Steve Harrington if you think about it, because in season 4 he controls those bat things or whatever, and so those bat things go and attack Steve Harrington and at least injure him.
And then if we get another scene that somewhat bothered me, even though I praise the season, it does have its issues. Where they're back at the place, like Nancy, Joyce, and the kids, minus Dustin, and 11 is in the room. She's trying to do her shit. Mike is talking about the relationship again, and then there's 2 scenes. And then there are 2 lies. And I just wanted to hear Nancy say, we have monsters right now, right? And then we get Max's best line of the season reaction to this. Why are we even talking about this? I'm like, thank you, Max.
Max is saying what we are all thinking there. Thank you. Ginger represent.
And then Mike did say something, and I'm like, okay, Mike, you won. When he said that he's scared to lose Elle and that he really went deep into things, and I'm like, okay, now I really care about you. Now I really care about this relationship, and I want you to win. I want you guys to get back together.
Yeah.
And then cut back to Murray, Alexei, Hopper, and Joyce. And people are complaining about his translation, and I'm like, you have the right to do that. He's the one translating.
Yeah. I mean, if he's messing it up, then that's on him. So.
Yeah. And then we found out the Russians opened the door using the upside down. Now here comes my biggest question. Is Alexei calling Hopper a fat Rambo? Is that a compliment or an insult?
Yeah, that is interesting. Because Rainbow's a badass,
I'm like, Rambo's a badass, but he's calling him fat. So I'm like...
So I guess take that as you will. Hopper kind of takes it, I think, as kind of like an insult.
Yes. And then if we see, and then cut back to the Russian facility where we see Erica pick up a very an electrifying thing, and Dustin's like, no, we need a real weapon. And I'm like, actually, if they didn't see you coming, that shocker thing could be a real weapon if the Russians were not expecting it.
True. Yeah.
And then we get the Stranger Things thing that happens every season.
What's that?
Yelling. It happened in season 1, it happened in season 2, now it happens in season 3.
Yelling from who, though?
I think it was Robin.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And
and also, one thing that happens in this episode I wanted to bring up is you get to see more of Billy's backstory with his mom.
Yes. I call it the Inception Beach.
Yeah, which was really, really just heartwarming and emotional, and kind of tugged on your heartstrings. So.
And then I love how. And then notice one other thing about Hopper. Do you remember how overprotective he was of 11 in Stranger Things season 1 and the start of season 2 and the start of this season?
Oh yeah,
Now he doesn't care.
yeah.
And I'm like, that's a big jump from you threatening Mike to you just throwing a fit because 11 just set a foot outside last season.
To now you're just don't really care. Okay, like there's some inconsistency there.
Yes. And then we see Loopy, Robin, and Steve, which to me, I love Loopy, Robin, and Steve. I love it so much. And then we see the shocker weapon actually is used in a good way. I'm like, shit, that was actually a good weapon.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
And then we get another creepy scene from Billy. Then we get to the end of episode 6. Now we are in the final 2 episodes.
Yes.
Which it's funny because the episode 7 starts with the fair, and it's like, it's kind of funny to see it start with the fair after all that insane shit that was going down.
I know. Yeah, it's just like a little.
And it's nice to see Mike's baby sister as a toddler.
Which one thing I also want to point out this season too is I loved how, at least with the first 3 seasons, how each one was kind of holiday themed. So like the first season, you got like your Christmas stuff there near the back, and that like and with the Christmas lights and all that stuff, you got near the end of the season and in the middle of the season, and then with season 2, you had your Halloween stuff because of the beginning, and then this season is July 4th, and they actually have like a July 4th celebration with fireworks and all that stuff. I thought that was pretty fun.
And then here's my questions. Was the fireworks the things that was alerting the creatures?
I would assume as such because they hear that sound. And
and
it would drive them nuts. Yeah.
Fun fact: I am not a big fan of fireworks. I do not like the sound, and I think they're a little bit boring.
Oh man, it depends on the kind of fireworks. If they're like the ground ones, I agree; those are really boring. But if they like shoot up in the sky and they do a bunch of cool stuff up in the air,
yes,
I can have fun with those. Yeah.
Yes, and I do have to clarify one thing. The Indy 500, that is the correct way of saying it. It's not 300. It is the Indy 500. I don't even know a lot about car racing, and I know that.
Oh, nice.
And then when they bring, so we get them, Erica, Dustin, and Loopy, Steve, and Robin. They get back up to the mall, and they go to the movie theater. Nobody addresses the bruises on Steve and Robin.
Yeah, that's just seems a bit odd.
And then cut back to cut back to Murray, Alexei, Hopper, and Joyce. Hopper is sounding drunk. He's drunk and he's just upset again. And then we get the scene. Murray is a love expert because he's calling out their sexual tension, just like he called out things with Jonathan and Nancy at the end of towards the middle of season 2.
They did, yeah, and he was right about that. And hey, I'm somebody who kind of ships Joyce and Hopper. I think they would make a good.
Yeah, me too. And then if we get and then all of them are, and then the kids are in the store, and Mike does something that gets me, that hits my heartstrings. I love that cliche of when the guy is trying to talk to the woman, but he's stumbling over his words. I like it because it feels realistic. It
Yeah.
feels like, okay, this would legit be a natural conversation. And
Yeah.
and then Steve and Robin, they get out of the movie theater. They're distracted by some lights and they're loopy. I'm like, I would be distracted by lights too.
Sure.
And then if we get the Coke product placement in the room, in the store, where they're all having a conversation about new Coke while 11 is trying to focus.
Exactly.
And
Which it just reminded me of some arguments with my friends. You know, it's really funny. He's talking, and I love his reference to The Thing as well, because The Thing is my favorite horror movie, and I love how he referenced that, saying, "Well, you know, that's the thing about like take The Thing for example. The original, it's good. It's got its place." He's like, "But the remake, that's the real classic," or something. I really loved that little reference there.
I get it. Then if we get to another iconic scene, the scene with Robin and Steve in the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Such an emotional scene where they're emotionally vulnerable for one another, and I love it. I feel like it brings them closer as friends. And then if we get the one kind of a dumbass comment from Steve, which I would make, because when people are slow and not getting something, when Nancy's talking about, I mean, when Robin's talking about Tammy Thompson, you see, but Tammy Thompson's a girl. I'm like,
dude,
Steve!
that scene was so beautiful though. I thought like her coming out.
Yes,
her
yes, it
coming out
is.
was very beautiful. Yeah.
It's a beautiful scene, but I'm like, Steve, you lovable idiot.
I know.
I love you, you idiot. Like,
thank you, Captain Obvious.
it's like he doesn't get that she's saying that she's bi.
Yeah, and like then the look on his
Wait.
like, oh.
Robin is bi, right? Or is she?
I think she's lesbian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, I had to get the fact checked.
Yeah, they never. I don't think they ever specify whether she's full on lesbian or bi, but you get the idea she's lesbian because she's never shown any interest in Steve in that way. So, yeah.
And then we finally get Hopper, Joyce, Alexei, and Murray at the fair, and we see Alexei really enjoying the fair, which is so sad because we know exactly what is going to happen.
I know, and when it happens, it's so sad because Murray literally leaves him to go get corn dogs, and then you know the unfortunate fate happens.
Yes.
But what I find funny is Alexei proved him wrong because he kept on saying how like those things were rigged for you to lose those prize things, and then Alexei wins the prize, and you know it was a nice little victory that he had before he had to lose his life.
And then we see Joyce and Hopper going to Mike's mom and everything, and they go into, my opinion, one of the scariest rides ever. I love spinning rides, but the one where you're pinned against the wall.
Oh, I've never done that ride. I really want to.
It scares me because I'm like, what if you move for half a second and crash and you fall into the floor?
Oof. Yeah.
And also the creepy assassin guy shows up again. He shows up a lot throughout the season. Nobody calls 911. Nobody calls like, oh, there's this creepy assassin.
Also, can I just say, you are in a public area and with a ton of people, and someone just shot somebody with a gun and they're bleeding. Do you not think that anyone around you is going to see this big bloody spot on this white dress shirt? It's like, dude, I don't like. It's not like a Halloween party. Like, it's not like someone trying to like, oh, look at my costume, I have a bloody shirt. No, this is like someone's bleeding out here. This is not normal.
And then, Vlevin has a badass scene again with the car, making it make noise, And then, which leads us to the grand finale episode.
Yeah.
And Joyce is right. Every bad thing is connected to them, But this season a little bit less because Will is not like the main one affected. Yes, Will has some effects and he still has the dreams, but it's like not even close to seasons 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
And I love seeing everybody come together again. I love that element.
But I would say, well, I love seeing everyone come together again. In this episode, it's under all the wrong circumstances because fuck, bro, Eleven's leg, like, it's fucked up in this episode. And you see, there's because of the attack that happened previously. They were in like at Hopper's old place in the last episode. They had that big showdown with the monster, and because of that attack, the leg now has this nasty little monster inside of her leg, and she has to like yank it out with her powers, and it's just like, that scene is really disturbing.
And I totally agree. So the monster shows up, Billy is outside, like there is three things going on, like we've got Murray, Joyce, and Hopper trying to break into the Russian facility. We've got we've got Steve, Robin,
I guess his internet went out. Either his internet went out or mine, but one of ours did. I think that's on his end. I think he froze up. But yeah, basically, you get you get Billy showing up, you get all of them showing up, and then the whole gang gets back together. And I love seeing the kind of reveal that you get there with like Hopper, stepping on the actual like little creature thing that popped out of her leg. I thought that was really fun. So yeah, that was a really cool reveal, and the monster action was really cool in this, and just everyone prepping for what is to come in episode 8 is really cool. And while we wait for Andrew to come back, we can move on to talk about episode 8, which is the kind of, which is the finale of this season. They had less episodes this season, which, it's kind of interesting. They go in a pattern of season 1 was like, I think that had your normal like the 10 episodes. Then season 8 or season 2 was 8 episodes. Season 3 was 8 episodes, and then you had then you have the next season, which is 9 episodes. So it's like, I think it went in like a pattern like that, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I thought it was really kind of crazy that Elle completely loses her powers in this episode. And here he is. He's back.
My phone fell off its charger.
Hey, okay, you're good and working now. There you are.
My phone fell off its charger.
You're all good.
So, what did you talk about?
I just moved on to talking about episode 8, because we basically were towards the end there. I just talked about the monster showing up and then getting ready to
Yes.
make a plan happen, and you get like all of them in the mall together now and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yes. So if we have all the kids minus Dustin in the mall, if we have Erica, Steve, Robin, and Dustin on the hill trying to get like the information, and then we have Murray, Steve. Then if we have Murray, Joyce, and Hopper in the Russian facility, and I love it. Flynn in the mall. They're trying to steal a car, but they steal the pink one, and I legit just said the Barbie movie called. They want their car back.
Yeah.
And
sure.
And I love the scene. And there's just one epic moment that Hopper has when the elevator door opens, all the Russians are there, and just boom, 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 and he just knocks them all out. I'm like, that is a video game move that everybody wants to do.
I know, right? Yeah, that is so cool. And like they're now wearing like Russian uniforms too to kind of blend in.
Yes. Yes. They take the uniforms off the dead people.
Yeah, basically. And
we've got everybody running around in the mall. I noticed how 11 the whole time is near Mike and Max. I'm like, of course she is, and I love that for her.
And say what you will about Erica, that the finale has my favorite Erica moment in the whole in the whole season, when she confronts Murray and he's going through all the plans, and she's like, "Listen, Mr. Bun Man," and he's like, after he says her name is Bauman, and he's like, she says some snarky remark, and he's like, "Why is this child speaking to me?" Or something like that.
And so they break in. They're trying to get this code to this thing, and the code that they have isn't working. They discover.
This is your favorite scene. Yeah.
There's one person who knows this code. The mysterious Susie. We find out not only she exists, but we get a fucking musical number between her and Dustin. So sweet. An iconic Stranger Things moment. She gives him the code, and it works, and all is good.
Turn around.
Look what you see.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then I just have.
I will say the reactions make that scene even more perfect.
Yes,
because of the way like Hopper's face is like that, and like Joyce is putting her head on the wall, like just like what is going on. Like,
no, and Steve
just the way he's just like,
what the fuck is going on?
He's like, oh like God, Robin gives almost like a stink face. She's just like, what?
Yes,
like that. It's just like I really loved all those reactions, and I loved one thing about the Erica actress. So I'm not a big fan of Erica as a character, but the one thing I loved that that the actress did is at the moment you hear him go, her eyes were like that. Like she's backing up, like what the fuck? Everything like what is going on?
Yes. Then
Yeah, and apparently the actress who plays Susie, I don't know if you knew this, but she's actually has been on Broadway, so that's why they got her to do this scene or something like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Then Hopper breaks into the Russian room, fires his gun in the air. All the Russians scatter. Nobody tries to tackle him. They just scatter at the man with the gun. And then we see Billy because of Eleven communicating with him, kind of breaks from the mind control, I call it.
Yeah. Yeah, which is kind of the sad moment, and I feel really sorry for Billy. He's one of the deaths I feel the most sorry for, because this is finally he actually has a chance at redemption, and he has a great redemption there when she's showing the vision of his mother, and he gets to imagine her, and then he gets out of this spell, gets out of this curse that was put on him, just for him to die in that very same scene and sacrifice himself. And Max's reaction, of course, is heartbreaking, because that is her brother. Even though they have issues with each other, that is her brother. So,
and then he sacrifices himself. We have to see Max's reaction to it, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
And then if we get the probably very controversial moment for you, the sacrifice of Hopper.
Yeah, which I'll say before that too, that Elle loses her powers in this episode as well. And
she does. Oh, yes, she does.
Which is a big thing. That's oh my god, that's crazy. She loses her powers. She can't even use her abilities anymore to fight this thing. So they have to find a way to do it manually. But yeah, really intense. Makes it much more intense when you know that they've lost their one powerful person. But going to the Hopper scene, yeah, that's a bit controversial, because while that would have been really sad, and I love the conversation Joyce and him had while they were in the uniforms, saying oh, well, we're gonna have that date again with each other, and you're just, as you rewatch it, you're just oh damn, I don't trust that she would have made it to the date anyway. She probably would have stood him up again, but
I think really she would have kept it. I think she would have.
Yeah, I think at this time she probably would have, but it's just, yeah, it's really sad, because they set up that they were gonna have this date together, and then boom goes the dynamite. Everything blows up in the Russian room, and he's fighting the Russian and finally wins after getting his ass kicked 50 times by the Russian. He finally wins.
I love that.
And it's sad the look he gives her and everything, right? As it's about
yeah.
And
if that wasn't sad enough, we have to see 11 realizing that her second papa is dead.
Yeah, as soon as they're walking out, and she's hugging, Joyce is hugging Will, and all that, and then
11 shows up.
11 has no father to hug or anything.
Yes.
It's just
then after this battle, the news finally catches up on how weird Hawkins is. And then we get to the real and then Robin and Steve tried to get a job at the video store, and that's where we discover something.
But the guy who was working at the arcade in season 2 is now working at the video store.
Yes.
Funny.
And this is where we discover something.
What?
Steve needs to watch the channel.
I know. Yeah, Steve needs to watch the channel. needs to get some movie education in him.
He needs movie education. I thought that I was bad sometimes, but Steve, I'm like, God damn it, you're even worse.
Yeah.
And then
He's like,
everybody's
he was like,
saying,
hey, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Ever heard of that one? Top 3
yes.
right there.
Love that.
Yeah.
Then we see the moving truck. They're moving, of course, because they have to get out of Hawkins. Makes complete sense. And then we see Hopper's letter.
Yeah.
Which is such an emotional thing.
Such an emotional scene. So
And
definitely was a payoff for sure.
This was the year of threes.
Mm-hmm.
You know why?
Why?
This came out, you remember how Hopper ended it with keep the door open 3 inches?
Oh, yeah.
This came out the same year as I Love You 3000 in Avengers Endgame.
Oh my God,
So
you're right.
This was the summer of emotional threes.
I know.
We got 3000, we got keep it open 3 inches. Like,
oof.
And this brings up something else. Like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, this is bittersweet, but this could be an ending. Like, if the Duffer Brothers said 3 seasons, that's it, this would have not have been. I may have been like, I want another season, but I wouldn't have felt like it. Oh man, they left us on such a cliffhanger. This would have felt like a good way to end the book, unlike seasons 1, 2, and especially 4.
Oh yeah. So and so I feel like, because this did, if you didn't have the little post credit scene, which we'll talk about, if you didn't have that little post credit tease there.
Wait, I didn't see the post credits.
Yeah, there's a little mid credit scene thing where what happens is they basically hint that Hopper's alive because they're taking this Russian to fight a Demogorgon, and as they're doing that, they're about to open up a cell, and then one person says, not the American," or whatever, and then they go and grab the Russian, and then go and then you see the Demogorgon attack the Russian. So you get the hint of, oh, not the American. Is that Hopper? And then you get, the Demogorgon attacking him. So if they didn't have that little scene there, and they would have kept Hopper like not alive, I feel like that could have actually been maybe a proper goodbye, because they literally drive off into the sunset, And
yes. So if we'll have to see how season 5 ends. I have a feeling in my heart that it's gonna be a great ending. I have a good feeling about it. Because say what we will about the seasons, they always end, I feel, on a great note. Even season 2, which was my least favorite, I'm still like, that ending was still so good.
Yeah.
The last 4 episodes, like episodes 6, 8, and 9, 5, 6, 8, and 9 were great that season. But as a whole, I adore season 3. I'm definitely gonna go back to it in the future. I may have to show my mom this season, like in the winter. Sometimes I'll have to show my mom this show eventually.
Yeah,
so I will be watching the show again.
I watched it with my mom when it first aired, and I've been going through it with my mom again. And one great thing about my mom is that, like, as the older she gets, the worse her memory gets. And while that is a bad thing, obviously, because it's like you don't like your memory going.
Yes.
It makes it more fun for watching these shows together, because then she forgets a lot about what happens. So,
yes.
So it makes it more
absolutely. So this season, despite its flaws, did live up to my expectations. I hope season 4 does the same as well. I came into this saying seasons 3 and 4 are my two favorites. Very curious to if it's gonna be going 3-1 3-1-4-2, or is it gonna go 1-4-1-2, or dare I say it, 1-3-1-2-4?
Yeah, for me right now, and I haven't finished season 4 yet. I got 2 episodes left. It's more so like 1, 2, and then maybe even literally 3 and 4. Like you just go down the ladder. That's probably how it is for me right now. So, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It could be 1, 2, 4, 3 by the time we get to our ranking. We'll also have to include 5 in our ranking once we actually rank the seasons. And
yes, I feel like we should do that at the end of our Stranger Things finale.
yeah,
like finale / retrospective kind of a thing.
I agree.
Where we can talk about the show as a whole. How was the show as a whole? Like, was it as good? Was it as bad? And then if we can rank the seasons.
Yeah, I think that would be cool, for sure.
I cannot wait to do season 4. Everybody, if you may feel like we're coming to the end. Technically, if we're not, we still have season 4, first half of season 1, the first half of season 5, second half of season 5, then the finale for season 5. So we've still got 3 to 4 more Stranger Things videos for you guys in the not too distant future.
Yeah. We have a lot coming, guys, so be prepared. First off, comment, I do want to say this. The season 3 nominations that EDM throws out there. He said it got nominated for Best Drama, Music Supervision, Editing, Visual Effects, Stunts, Sound Mixing, Interactive Extension, and 1 Sound Editing for Battle of Starcourt. Plus, it was also nominated for SAGs for Ensemble, Harbor, and Stunts. Makes sense. I think that's very fitting.
Yeah, and so yeah, very impressed with season 3. I love it when you hype up something in your head and then you see it and you're like, oh my god, that was exactly what I wanted.
Agreed. And even if I was not as high on it, I think it's still fun that we could have this conversation. And there's points that I agree with you on, there's points that you agree with me on, and we can just kind of have that fun little discourse with one another.
And man, oh man, I have some fun in a few weeks with you. We've got back-to-back videos in a few weeks, both involving things that I'm really hyper-fixated on right now.
For sure. Especially
because the next video will not be coming out on a Sunday as well. Because on the Sunday, we've got which 2 weeks from yesterday, so 1 day less, is Wicked for Good spoilers.
Yeah.
Which, if you know me and you've seen me on the channel, you know how much I cannot wait for that movie. And then the next day I get to talk about Stranger Things. December for me is the thing the party that never ends.
And then the weekend before Wicked too, we also have the Wicked, part 1 commentary as well. So
yes, on the week of Wicked's really release, where if we're shooting for the Wednesday for that, that's going to be a blast. we've got a lot of things coming up for you. Michael has a lot of award show coverage coming up come January. We're going to have a lot of most anticipated, best of, worst of lists coming out. So keep on subscribing to the channel and keep an eye out on this channel for always keep an eye out, but especially the next few months because we're headed into not only award season but big blockbuster season as well.
Mm-hmm.
As well,
with
and
Avatar
end of the year, start of next year, where we always have a crap ton of content for you guys, whether for like best movies, worst movies, underrated movies, like. So this channel is gonna be really busy. Keep on subscribing, keep on checking us out.
Yep. And we will see you all guys in the next one. Until then, stay classy, my friends, and keep on keeping on.